chairman of Choiseul Africa. I will say, congratulations for bringing Choiseul Africa to Nairobi. Dear Carol, my good friend from KEPSA, and ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I think the Prime Cabinet Secretary will officially welcome you here in Kenya. Kenyan government, I don't want to spoil your speech, Mheshimiwa, but Kenya is the cradle of humanity, so I think the government and the president is arguing that Kenya is home to humanity, so welcome home, here in Nairobi. I don't want to be too long. I want to maybe focus on 3-4 points. I think what Carol said and what you said, James, was very important. Let me say one thing, and because Prime Cabinet Secretary is also the Minister for Foreign Affairs, I'd like to appreciate and congratulate Choiseul Africa for coming here to Nairobi. And I believe there's no such thing as Francophone, Anglophone, Lusophone Africa, or, I think you're seeing Africa as one continent with opportunities, and Choiseul wants to be a partner, bringing also French but also European stakeholders and businesswomen and businessmen to Africa, but having this holistic vision of Africa as one continent and not just, and I'm saying that as a French ambassador. I don't think, we don't believe in Francophone, Anglophone, Lusophone. We believe in a relation with Africa and Europe, Africa. And so I think the fact that you're bringing here Nairobi speaks volume also, that there's no such thing as, we only focus in certain part of Africa and not on others. So I think that's good. I think if you want to enhance business ties between France and Africa, there's no better place than Kenya. Why? Because the private sector here, and it's not Carol who will deny that, is one of the most vibrant in Africa. It's a transformative private sector, a very dynamic one. It has been said, financial services, digital economy, the Silicon Savannah. So I think for the fraternity of Choiseul, and I know Choiseul has been present here in Kenya. Carol, you're an alumni, and Pascal, you said you have something about 30 Kenyans that are part of this network, if I understand. But bringing this meeting to Nairobi, I think, is important given the place of the private sector here. Secondly, I think Choiseul is all about connecting people, establishing networks, and I think it's important to do it. I think it also helps us to strengthen the Kenya-France partnership and relationship. I believe your initiative contributes to better know each other. Kenyan and French and other actually members of other Africans as well. I'd like just to say that our relation is on the move, and when I say that, it's our people are on the move. Last year, I can report, and just to nuance a little bit what you were saying, we have received 50% more requests for visa to France by Kenyan, meaning there's a curiosity, an appetite here in Kenya to look at France for various purposes, including business. I think that we have more Kenyan that are also considering France or French institution to pursue their studies, their higher studies. So that's a good sign, I believe. And there's more. It's good that there's more French people who come also here to Kenya. I think we start from a good base. Mheshimiwa, we have 200 companies registered in the French Chamber of Commerce. I think we have a fourth provider of FDI in this country. And to the point, and I'm glad to see that this French company has created 5,000 new jobs for the Kenyans, because the impact of the French business here is about 36,000 direct jobs here in Kenya, so it's a substantive contribution. And moving forward, we'll have our Africa-France Summit here in Nairobi, and I think the network you all represent will certainly be used to showcase stories of partnerships, investment and trade between France, Europe, and Africa, including Kenya. And in closing, because I don't want to be too long, I just want to also echo what Carol has said. And I think Choiseul is also a youth initiative. If I'm correct, you cannot be admitted in this, I don't know if I can say club, because it speaks here, you know. No, or fraternity, let's say. Committee, okay. If you're above 40, if I'm correct. So it is about also establishing links with young, talented entrepreneurs. And all our partnership, I think, between France and Kenya is to address the very issue you were mentioning, investing in the youth, because you're a young society, and I think you all contribute. Our partnership between Kenya and France is also geared towards empowering the youth of Kenya, the youth of Africa, but also giving the appetite of the young French people to take an interest in Africa. So I don't want to be too long. I just want to wish you fruitful deliberation during the day. Asante sana. I think you're all invited tonight to enjoy a glass of French wine to celebrate our friendship. Asante sana.
Thank you very much, His Excellency Arnaud Suquet, Ambassador of France of Kenya. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to welcome on the stage His Excellency Dr. Musalia Mudavadi, the Prime of Cabinet Secretary and Cabinet Secretary for Foreign and Diaspora Affairs.
Okay, please be seated. Good morning. Yeah. Okay. The chair of Choiseul Africa, Dr. Pascal Leroux, Your Excellency Arnaud Suquet, Ambassador of France to Kenya, the Chief Executive Officer of KEPSA, Madam Carol Karaoke, my friend Moria for welcoming me home, distinguished delegates, regional stakeholders, ladies and gentlemen, good morning again. It is a profound honor to welcome you to Nairobi for the inaugural East African edition of the Choiseul Africa Summit. Let me emphasize how pleased and optimistic I am to participate in this forum that offers high-quality networking opportunities. Should I say networking or matchmaking? I don't know. It brings together visionary leaders, entrepreneurs, innovators, and change makers to shape the future of our continent's economic transformation. This gathering is more than just a meeting. It is a milestone for Kenya, for East Africa, and for Africa as a whole. At the outset, I extend my sincere gratitude to Choiseul Africa and the organizers of this summit, particularly for two key reasons. First, for choosing Nairobi as the host of the inaugural East Africa edition of the Choiseul Africa Summit. Second, for designing well-chosen and forward-looking thematic areas that directly speak to Africa's transformation. In your concept note, you pointed out that you'll have themes around the Kenya on the move, co-investing in economic transformation, digitalization and technology sovereignty, agriculture and food security, matchmaking and MSMEs and financial institutions, then regional integration and creative economy. The summit therefore aligns broadly with the government's better economic transformation agenda. However, as somebody did say here, governments alone cannot deliver transformation. Kenya's model of public-private partnerships demonstrates how institutional collaboration can drive economic transformation. Africa is no longer at the margins of global affairs. We are actively reshaping our engagement, asserting our agency, influencing global norms, and establishing institutions that embody our values. The Choiseul Africa Summit is a clear manifestation of this shift. It has become a platform where African voices lead, our priorities define the agenda, and our solutions drive action. Kenya takes pride in hosting a forum that amplifies our voices and accelerates its rise. This summit contributes to regional integration, which is one of the long-standing goals of Africa's transformation. I am delighted that for the first time, the summit is being held in this region as part of the forward-looking strategies to accelerate East Africa's transformation. Kenya remains committed to regional integration as a catalyst for economic transformation through initiatives such as LAPSET, the Northern Corridor, regional connectivity projects, and active participation in the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. We are dismantling barriers, connecting markets, and creating economies of scale. These initiatives pave the way for Africa's next growth cycle and deepen continental solidarity. Kenya's digital ecosystem, from mobile money to e-government platforms, demonstrates the power of African innovation. With over 70% mobile penetration and a vibrant fintech sector, we are using technology to improve service delivery, expand financial inclusion, and boost productivity. Beyond access, we must also pursue technological sovereignty by building a digital public infrastructure that is secure, scalable, and rooted in African realities. Platforms like the Choiseul 100 Africa highlight the young leaders driving change across the continent. Kenya is proud to invest in youth empowerment through education, entrepreneurship, the creative economy, and leadership development. We believe that the future of Africa must be shaped by those who will inherit it, and we must equip them not only with skills, but with platforms to lead. As we look ahead, let us be deliberate in our partnerships and united in our purpose. We call upon all delegates, investors, and entrepreneurs and development partners to commit to actionable outcomes. Kenya stands ready to walk this journey with you. We envision an Africa that is not only resilient in the face of global challenges, but radiant in its pursuit of prosperity, equity, and innovation. Let this summit be remembered for not only the ideas exchanged, but for the momentum it generates towards a new era of African excellence. Therefore, I wish you fruitful deliberations during this East Africa edition of the Choiseul Africa Summit. I thank you. Balozi, Chair, just 2 minutes. One, this is very good for us because it's like a percussor, a curtain raiser to the forthcoming Africa-France Summit, which will be held for the first time early next year outside a French-speaking African nation. So this is a very good build-up to that final critical event early next year. So we look forward to this. So thank you for bringing your team here to set us up. The second is to just emphasize that we will be committed to work with you. We have no option. At the end of the day, we have to work with the private sector, with the business community. That is where our strength will come from as a continent and as a people. We must integrate. Lessons have come, like electric shocks in the last few weeks. If we have not learned anything from those shocks, then only God can save us. So, as a people, as a continent, we must now figure out that we must find our own space find solutions, and work with a global fraternity from a completely different perspective. So this becomes important. I was looking at an article somewhere, just to conclude on what I've been told, that there's a clear transition mechanism. You're a member of Choiseul if you're below 40. And once you hit 40, you become an alumni. That's a predictable constitution, don't you think? You know, it's very clear, predictable, and you know what happens when you get there. You know, this is what we are looking for in terms of policy. You must have clear policies, you have predictable, and then you must be able to enforce them when the time comes for you to move on. So this is something that the business community in Africa must really engage in their respective nations. The need to have predictable and accountable beacons that are known. You know, at certain stages, this is what will happen. You will have to face transition in one way or the other, and then the rules of transition are also defined. And ladies and gentlemen, this is why in Kenya, in spite of all the challenges we have, there are certain critical beacons that we can never run away from. Right now, we have just reconstituted the IEBC because it is critical that the next election is held on time in accordance with the Constitution. That is part of building a nation of credibility, of predictability, and a nation that respects the rule of law. Let us be candid. Is this a position that is really, really clearly visible in Africa today? How many countries can really speak out and say that we know our election is going to be on this date, constitutionally put in place, and you have to work within that framework? So you have it. These are the critical issues that even within the business community you must engage respective governments in different areas so that this predictability can be put in place. There'll be hiccups as you get there, but we need to have it so that business can thrive in our continent. Our friends in France, they know it. They have their patterns. They know their constitution. They may have their moments of sneezing and coughing, as is happening at the moment. But at the end of the day, there are certain predictable positions that are known. Okay, so let's entrench the rule of law very systematically. We are seeing that we want to be transparent. You can see how long it took us to go to court on IBC, in and out, but eventually we are there. You can see now the issue around procurement. Everybody is saying, no, we don't want e-procurement, we don't want this. They're going to court, but because we respect the rule of law, we'll wait for the courts to go through the process, and we'll then be able to move on. But when you look at one of your themes here, one of your roundtables, it's all about digitalization and bringing technology to government. But you can see what is happening. There's resistance to technology, and everybody knows why. There's that kind of resistance. So we have to keep on moving on this lane. So finally, the story was this. Somebody asked, if you're setting up government, you're setting up entities, always ask yourself, is the future seated on that table? Now, listening to Choiseul and your ground rules, it's clear the future is seated on your table. Because the young people come in, and as you become of age, you transit, and the future has a permanent seat on the Choiseul table. So we need to ask ourselves, does the future have a permanent seat in African setups? Is it lip service? Or does the future have a permanent seat in African economic cycles, economic entities, political cycles, religious cycles, business cycles? Does the future sit on the table? Do they have a seat? Are they like the permanent five, the P5, like France, in the Security Council, where the young people will always have a permanent seat because they are the future in our decision-making organs and entities? So I leave that to you. But Choiseul, you've shown us the road. So have a good conversation, have enjoyable roundtables, and may good things come out of this gathering. Asanteni sana.
Please welcome Dr. Pascal Leroux, the ambassador of France, Arnaud Souquet, Carole, and James for a picture with the Prime Minister.